Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Why am I so hyper? I do not know. So today's video is going to be a very simple, very easy, very basic makeup tutorial on this look right here. This is pretty much what I do every single day, like almost every single day of my life. I do this makeup look on myself, and this is pretty much what I do all the time. It rarely changes. I usually just change up the products sometimes. I sometimes find things that work better for me at certain periods of time. But in general, this is what I do every single day, and I thought that this might be a useful video because contrary to a lot of the more dramatic looks that I post on this channel, this is something that you can do in pretty much 10 minutes. This takes me about 10 minutes every single morning, and I'm able to use products that I know that work for me and that I know work well together and that I know will stay on my face, because when I want to do something every single day, I want it to look good at all times. I want it to be effortless. I want it to be natural. I want it to be long wearing. I don't want it to be like too troublesome. I don't want to be reapplying anything on my face. And what's great about this makeup look is that I have managed to really just get like a whole bunch of products that really just come together really well, that look good, that I don't have to adjust, and I love how it looks. So this is pretty much the end result. You can wear this anytime. You can wear this, I don't know, to school, to work. It's very easy. It's very fresh. You can also change it up however you see fit. But in general, this video is going to be an in-depth tutorial on everything that's on my face right now. So if you want to see how to create this makeup look, it's very easy. It's very simple. There's no lashes. There's no eyeshadow. It's very easy. Anyone can do this. So if you want to see how to create this, then of course, keep watching. So first I like to start off with foundation. And I like to use my beauty blender to apply it. And the reason is I haven't really found like a more natural way to apply my foundation, because there is a brush, and with brushes you can make it look really like amazing. You can like make it look a little bit higher coverage, and it's really easy. You can do it really quickly. However, I found that like lately especially, I've been really liking that like second skin look. I really want my foundation to look like it is a second skin, and that's why I like to use something to apply it that will make it look very natural, very good. And that's why I always reach for a damp beauty blender. I haven't touched a foundation brush in like months because I've always been using this or several of the other beauty blenders that I have lying around my room, but this one is the one I tend to use, and I just like this a lot. This is damp, and we're going to be using two kinds of foundation, and this sounds really high maintenance, but this is like the way I found that it works for me. I have oily skin, so, and I also have like a lot of texture, so when I have foundation on and I know that I'll be out for the entire day, like at school, doing whatever, I want to know that my foundation will stay on, look good, and feel great. So I find that it's not a really good idea for me to apply like a full coverage foundation all over my entire face, because then we're not going to be looking like I have that second skin layer. So instead, I like to use a very light coverage foundation just to even out my skin. So that was like a really long-winded explanation, but the foundation I like to use all over my entire face is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi foundation. This you wouldn't really expect me to wear since I do have oily skin, but it works so great. If you have dry skin, this would be amazing for you. I don't really think you would even need to powder this, to be honest, but I feel like I do since I have oily skin and I need to set it a little bit. So this is one that I like to use, and I use this all over my entire face except for my nose area. And that, my friends, is where I put on another foundation, and this is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. And this is a foundation that I like to use on my nose area because I find that foundation comes off very easily. And that is because of like allergies, that is because of like how my skin naturally is. But I have found that when I put this foundation on my nose, it comes off within like 4 hours, and I can't have that. So I like to use this foundation on my nose, and then all over my entire face, I like to go for this foundation. That sounds really, really high maintenance, but it's really not. So I just take my beauty blender and I just apply it to my face in that fashion, and that's just how it works for me. So that's just a way for me to make sure that my foundation stays on for the entire day, and that's what I'm doing right now. So now that I'm done with applying that layer of foundation, as you can see, I applied it with my fingers and then just blended it out with the beauty blender. That's just what works for me. I'm able to cover up any redness, anything that I have on my skin that I want to cover up. And then for my nose area, I'm just going to use this one, and what I do is I just put a little bit on the back of my hand, just a slight like amount, not too much, since we're only covering like that small area of the face. And then I take the beauty blender and I use the little butt side of it to pick up the product, and I have it right there. And now I'm just going to put it on my nose. I'm using my beauty blender to apply this. Definitely really helps really just make it look very even and very natural, especially since the foundation on my nose is a little bit lighter than the foundation that we're using all over my face. You can see that there's a quite a difference. I feel like it kind of blends in together and looks a lot more natural if I just use a beauty blender, because it's very seamless, it's very blendy, it's going to look very good. I have found that if I apply this with my fingers to my face and then try and blend this out with the beauty blender, it will start peeling a little bit, like on this area of my nose. I don't know why that is. I have a feeling it's because of the skin there, but I find that the easiest way to deal with that is simply just to take the beauty blender and use it directly with the beauty blender instead of using my fingers. So that's just the way I do it. That was really prolix. I should work on that, but that's just what I'm going to say. So now I'm doing brows, and I'm using the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade, the same thing that I always do. I actually had a segment in my Coachella / music festival makeup video where I actually was going into quite a pretty deep detail on how I do my brows. It wasn't really a brow routine video, but I will put it down either below or in like the or on the screen somewhere, and I'll try and insert the timestamp where I did my brows in that video. But that video, I was really like going into depth and explaining how I do my brows and why I do them. So I'm not really going to talk about that in this video because it did take a while. But I'm just going to do my brows real quickly. Again, I'm using the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade because I really like my brows to look very natural, and I feel like if you go with the light hand, brow pomades can look incredibly natural. However, if you go very heavy-handedly, that's when it starts looking like the Instagram brow, which for me every day is not something that I necessarily want. Okay, so now that I have my brows on, I'm going to go back to my face and I'm going to put on concealer. This is something I usually do like all the time. If you watched any of my videos in like the past, I don't know, 4 to 3 months, you probably have already seen me do this all the time, and that is to use this Maybelline Instant Age Rewind concealer. Love this stuff, it's really good, and I'm just going to use this underneath my eyes. So yes, I'm just going to blend this all out quickly using my beauty blender right here. This is like usually the only way I'm able to like kind of pretend that I'm getting a lot of sleep when really I never do. So now I'm going to go in with some concealer. So now I'm going in with some eyeliner. I'm using my Maybelline Cream Gel Liner. Pretty much something I do all the time. And I'm using a detail brush to apply this to my inner waterline. Pretty much the same thing I've been doing every single tutorial on this channel. So you might wonder why I'm jumping in between steps. Why I am just doing my face and my brows and then my face again, and now I'm doing my eyeliner, and now I'm actually going to do my baking. The reason is I find that if I wait in between layers, if I wait in between my foundation and concealer and my concealer and my powder, then I find that my face actually lasts longer. Like my makeup doesn't disappear as quickly, and that sounds really weird. But personally, like if I am putting like a concealer on top of like a really sticky foundation that hasn't had time to set and actually look a little bit less sticky and actually look a little bit more matte, then I feel like my concealer is going to come out right off. I don't know why. But yeah, anyway, foundation, it looks very sticky and looks very like shiny when you first apply it, but that is usually because it's wet. However, if you just wait for it to dry a little bit, usually it's a lot more matte, it's a lot more manageable, and actually that's why I wait for my foundation and my concealer to just dry out a little bit, to settle a little bit when I first put it on before putting on powder, because I find that since my foundation, like right now, it looks a lot more matte than it looked when I first applied it. Now I know I don't really need as much powder as I would think I would need if I had just applied powder right after applying foundation, because again, you get that wet stickiness and you think, oh yeah, I need more powder. When really you don't. You just need to wait a little bit and then you can apply a thin layer of powder and you don't really have to apply as much. So that is a very long-winded explanation of why I do this, but I hope that kind of helped a little. So for powder, I'm using my usual, my Coty Airspun powder. Love this stuff so much. This is my second jar, and this is huge, and it takes quite a while to go through every single jar, but it took me a while, but since I use it every single day since I love it so much, it happened. I bought a new one. So yeah, this is the one in the color called Natural Neutral, and I'm applying this to my face, underneath my eyes, to all the places that I want to bake using my beauty blender. I kind of really like the look of my powder whenever I press it in with a sponge. I find that I'm able to make it look a lot more matte, a lot more velvety, and that's why I tend to use a sponge for applying my bake instead of just a brush. I find this really important to like set this part of my face with powder, because whenever I give someone like a hug, I don't want like my foundation on their shirt, you know, because that's always really awkward. So I like to set it with powder so we don't have that awkward issue. So now that we have our bakeage on, I'm going to go in with some mascara. I'm just going to be using my usual, my L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black Mascara with a little bit of this Revlon Lash Potion waterproof mascara on top, because I find that that's just a really good combination, because this is waterproof and this will make sure that my curl really just holds, and then this is like the blackest mascara you'll ever find in your life, and it looks amazing. It's very volumizing, so that's why I like to use the two of them together. So now I'm just going to line my lips with the number 7 lip pencil. This is called the number 7 Precision Lips Pencil in the shade Blush. Now I'm also going to be using this lip balm from Burt. This is like so beat up because I use it all the time, but this is a Burt lip balm, a classic. I use this all the time, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply this to my lips with my fingers, and I'm just going to make sure that the lip pencil just really blends into this lip balm, and what that will do is that will make my lips look naturally pink, which is like all I can say to describe it. But this is pretty much how it ends up looking, and as you can see, it is so like incredibly natural. It's very easy, and you barely look like you have any kind of lip thing going on your lips at all. It is very natural, and I love how it looks. So this is pretty much how this looks on my lips right now. So I'm just going to go to the rest of my face, by the way. I like to use a bronzer now. Usually I didn't really use bronzer because I was like, I don't really want to bother, but recently I've really been into the butter bronzer from Physicians Formula. If you watched my favorites video, this came up a lot, but this is an amazing bronzer. It is so good for my skin color, it's so good for like me in general. I love how blendable it is, and I just use this all the time. So I'm just going to use this. As you can see, like this is so beat up right now. It used to have like these waves, and now it's like almost completely flat. I've been using it so much. And then to apply, I like to use this brush. This is from Real Techniques, and it's called their contour brush, and I just like to just swirl this brush in the product and then tap off the excess, and this will ensure that I don't have way too much product on the brush. And now what I do is I hold the end of the brush, because if you hold the brush really close to the bristles, then you will get like a lot of like jaggedness, and you won't get as much of an airbrushed soft contour with this. So I like to hold this at the end so there's less pressure, and I'm just going to use this to lightly contour the hollows of my cheeks, as well as a little bit on the sides of my nose and wherever else I feel like I need a lot of contouring. So I'm just going to brush off the bake using the same brush. Doesn't really matter. I'm just going to brush it off. And now, because I'm so damn extra, I just like to take a huge brush. This is the largest one I have, which is not that huge. And I'm just going to take this bronzer right here from Colourpop. This is their Topaz palette that they did with Alexis Ren. Tap off the excess. And I'm just going to bronze up my neck, just because you know what? I am tired of looking pasty. I'm ready for the summer. I'm ready for the sun, and I want to look tan. Even though I'm faking it like in a major way. And then to even out my face with my neck, I'm just going to take the same brush, again tap off the excess, and just use this just to apply some color there. Maybe I went just a little bit overboard, but you know what? I'm loving it. Last but not least, I'm just going to do my under eye mascara, because I couldn't really do that with the bake. So I'm just going to use this waterproof under eye mascara. This is the one I've been using for my under eye area because it does not smudge. It's waterproof, it'll stay put, and you know what? I think it's amazing. So that, my friends, is the end of this makeup tutorial. This is how the look turned out. Thank you so much for watching until the end of this video. I hope you learned something new and probably found some helpful ideas to incorporate into your own makeup routine. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, night, morning, evening, whatever you are, whatever you're doing. I hope you have a wonderful wonderful time doing it. That sounds really cheesy, but you know what? I love myself some cheese, so that is just fine. So until next time, I guess I'll see you later on my channel. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.